All right, let's dive in. We're tackling Sunny Jetsun today.
Oh, Sunny Jetsun.
Yeah, you know, the Consciousness Share Love Be Happy .pdf you sent over.
I do.
It's, intense, to say the least.
It is.
Surreal poetry, strong opinions, and definitely not afraid to get a little R-rated, you know?
Right from the start, I was hooked.
You and me both.
Yeah.
It's like reading a collage, but with ideas instead of images, you know?
Yeah. It's like asteroid dreaming of fusional starfish 1 minute and then, bam, are you memory bank robots the next?
Exactly. It's jarring. Like, what is even happening?
But he's doing it on purpose. He actually talks about using, like, fair use law to pull from all these different sources.
Oh, really? So it's not just random for the sake of being random?
I don't think so. He wants to make you think, to contrast stuff, critique things, even support different ideas all at the same time.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
It is, but it's also what makes him so fascinating.
Okay, so before we get too lost in the word salad, let's talk about Sunny himself. The excerpts mentioned he spent some time on that 1970s hippie trail.
Oh yeah, the one that went all through Asia.
That's the one. Sounds like it had a big impact on him.
For sure. He talks about London, Amsterdam, Paris, Kathmandu, all these major cultural centers.
Must have been quite the experience.
And he was clearly immersed in the whole counterculture scene. Drugs, sex, rock and roll.
The classics.
But then he also gets into spirituality and meditation. It's this really interesting mix of like indulgence and introspection.
Yeah, like he's trying to find the connections between those two worlds.
Yeah.
And you can definitely see that in his writing. It's all out there.
All of it. And that brings us to his controversial side.
Which is what you really wanted to dig into, right?
Yeah, and Sunny definitely doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
Governments, corporations, media, organized religion.
So like he's taking aim at all of them.
Pretty much. He sees them all as these like systems of power and control that are messing things up.
He ties it to historical events too, right? Like the Vietnam War and the use of atomic bombs.
Exactly. It's like he sees those events as symptoms of a deeper problem.
That we're just obsessed with power.
Yeah, but it's not as simple as power is bad. He sees it as this force that can be used for good or for evil. And he's really suspicious of how it's being used right now.
It makes you think about how much power we give away, right?
All the time. And then there's this whole thing about technology.
Especially AI.
He's basically waving a giant red flag about it, saying it's going to dehumanize us, enslave us.
I mean, it is kind of freaky how fast things are moving.
For sure. And he links this fear of technology back to his travels. Like, he experienced all this genuine human connection on the road, and he's worried we're going to lose that in a world dominated by machines.
I get that. So, okay, we've got this guy, Sunny, who's clearly complex, has this wild writing style, and some seriously strong opinions.
Definitely. And I think our listener wants to understand the why behind it all,
Right.
which is a challenge.
Right. It's like we're trying to walk a tightrope here, exploring his perspective without actually, saying we agree with everything.
It's more like holding up a mirror to his mind so the listener can look in and see what's going on in there and maybe challenge some of their own assumptions along the way.
Exactly. And we can't forget about his views on women. You mentioned that whole thing about love and respect for women and the feminine divine.
Oh, yeah. That's a big part of it. He uses this really romantic, almost surreal language when he talks about women.
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical love poetry.
But it's not just about physical attraction. He talks about equality, about fighting for women's rights. He seems to really admire their strength and beauty.
There was one line that really stuck out to me, something about Sumerian characters tattooed on her hips that spoke the Nostratic language, the oldest and rarest of humanity. Never a dull moment with a beating heart. Love is gold.
Oh, wow. He's going way back there. For the listener, the Nostratic language is this, like, hypothetical ancient ancestor of a bunch of language families.
So he's evoking something really old and mysterious.
Definitely. And then saying love is gold. He's putting it up there with something precious and timeless.
Like he's trying to get at the essence of feminine energy, This powerful, creative force that he clearly has a lot of respect for.
Yeah. And it seems like this reverence for the feminine ties into his broader philosophy about love and connection. He sees them as essential for human happiness and spiritual growth, which I think is a cool way to look at it.
Totally.
Yeah.
But let's be real. His writing isn't always sunshine and roses. He can get pretty dark, especially when he's talking about love and loss.
That's true. There's a vulnerability there that can be really powerful.
You asked me to pick a poem that resonated with me. There's one that really hit hard. It's called You Were Truly Loved.
Oh, I'm curious to hear this one.
Do you mind if I read it?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, here goes. You were truly loved. Press it, bless it all the way through sex climax. Love frees not, freezes the heart. She's a sleeky, purring pussycat staring into space, jumping up my trunk and across tall garden walls. Instinct rippling her lithe loins, music is in the air. Lemongrass and sweet herbs. Will you roll one for me? Burning sweet desire in fields of wild romantic poetry.
Whoa. He doesn't waste any time, does he?
Nope. It's so direct, almost shocking.
And that mix of sexual imagery and nature metaphors.
It's like he's trying to capture this raw, untamed kind of love.
And that line about lemongrass and sweet herbs, is that a drug reference, you think?
Could be. He's definitely not afraid to blur the lines between pleasure and spirituality.
But there's also this sense of longing in there, isn't there? Like he's chasing after something that's just out of reach.
You're right. And that feeling of longing, it just gets stronger in the next part of the poem.
Well, that sounds like a good place to pick up in our next segment.
Yeah, stay tuned because things are about to get even deeper.
That longing, it just, it kind of takes over in the rest of the poem.
Okay, so what happens next?
He says, I am dedicated to loving you, to protecting, caring with fullest devotion in my heart, seducing, caressing your heart. Like hypersonic spirits flying in supernovas, orgasms cosmically Yumi, kundalini energy, touching, feeling climaxes immersed deep inside. Seeing your smile, copulation, your life in ecstasy, embraced in mine, expanding our minds in bliss. My muse is still alive, happening now inside me. Even though you left me many years ago, darling, without a word or a wave or goodbye, sweetheart. Gone forever, but this deep emotional poetry is alive on love's inspired memories and dreams, expressions.
Wow, I mean, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
This cosmic imagery, the emotions, it's intense.
He's trying to go beyond just physical love, connect it to something bigger, something spiritual.
Yeah, get that.
For our listener, Kundalini energy is this powerful life force. It's supposed to be at the base of your spine.
Okay.
So he's mixing the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual all together.
And that line, even though you left me many years ago, darling.
Yeah.
Man, that just hits you in the gut, you can just feel the heartbreak.
Definitely. But there's also strength in it, right? Like he's saying this deep emotional poetry is alive on love's inspired memories and dreams. He's not giving up on love just because of the pain.
Yeah, it's like he's turning that pain into something beautiful.
Exactly.
I wonder, is this poem about a specific woman? Or is it more about that idealized feminine energy he writes about so much?
Good question. Maybe both. It could be inspired by a real person, but then he uses that experience to explore something more universal, something about love and loss in general.
Yeah, I think that's what resonates with me so much. We've all felt those things, that intense love, that terrible heartbreak.
It's part of being human, right? And
Yeah.
Sunny's not afraid to show that. He's just laying it all out there.
It's refreshing, honestly. So much poetry is all about trying to be clever or detached, but Sunny's just raw and real.
It's what makes his work so powerful.
Speaking of powerful, Sunny doesn't just stick to personal stuff, right? He also gets into some pretty heavy political and social issues.
Oh yeah, he goes there.
Like we talked about before, he's not afraid to critique those power structures.
Not at all. And one of the places where that really comes through is his view on the Israel-Palestine conflict.
That's a tough one.
He doesn't hold back. He uses some really strong language, even calling it a mad fucking Holocaust.
Yeah, I remember that. It was intense.
It's clear he's angry about it.
He seems to be accusing governments and the media of being complicit too, right?
For sure. He says, there's no sanctions on the Holy Land who didn't say that. Like he's calling out this huge double standard in how the conflict is handled.
Yeah, he's definitely not mincing words.
And it's interesting because he criticizes both sides. He calls out what he sees as Israeli aggression and Hamas terrorism.
Right, so he's not picking a side in the traditional sense, but he's condemning the violence on both sides.
Exactly. He writes, stop the judging of this dualistic mind, observe it all as a passing summer's day. It's like he's saying, let's try to see beyond the usual us versus them narrative.
Like, we need a more nuanced understanding of what's happening.
Yeah. And maybe that's where Sunny's experience as a traveler comes in. He's seen so much of the world, experienced all these different cultures.
So he has a broader perspective than a lot of people.
Right. He's not bound by any particular ideology or national identity.
So like he's saying, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
We should be trying to understand each other instead of fighting all the time.
Exactly. But he's also not going to stay silent about injustice, no matter who's doing it.
He seems to be connecting these global issues to what's happening inside us too, right? Like with all the stuff he says about mass formation, psychosis, and hypnosis.
Yeah, he talks about how people in power manipulate our minds.
For their own benefit.
Of course. He writes, they fucked up big time. Propaganda, managing a concept of democracy, building illusions, even taking the sides of their oppressors. It's scary, really. It's like he's saying we're not just physically controlled, but mentally controlled, too.
Yeah, they were all plugged into some kind of matrix.
Right. But he doesn't just leave us hanging with that scary thought.
There's a way out.
He offers a way out. He talks about consciousness, about awareness, about how we can break free from this mental conditioning.
Okay, so what does that look like? How do we do that?
He says, be conscious, in tune, resonating with an open heart and mind in the highest frequencies. Human being, not a very clever, obedient, insentient machine. He's calling for us to take back our own minds and hearts, to resist the forces that are trying to control us.
That's a powerful message. But it's also, easier said than done,
Oh, it's not easy to break free from those old ways of thinking, but that's where Sunny's work comes in. It's not a set of instructions or anything. It's more like a spark, something to get you thinking, get you feeling, get you looking at the world in a new way.
So it's not about agreeing with everything he says. It's more about engaging with the ideas.
Right. And maybe in the process, you discover something new about yourself, about the world.
It sounds like he's trying to shake things up.
Oh, for sure. He's throwing a grenade into all our nice, neat little worldviews, and then we got to pick up the pieces and figure out what to do with them.
So what does all this mean for our listener? Where do we even begin to unpack all of this?
That's the question we're going to tackle in our final segment.
Sunny's world, man. Poetry, passions, anger. It's a lot.
He really throws you in the deep end, doesn't he?
Yeah, no kidding. But that's kind of what makes it so interesting, I think. He makes you face stuff, uncomfortable truths about the world, and maybe even about ourselves.
It's like he's holding up this, distorted mirror,
Yeah. You can't look away.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just about blaming other people, right? He wants us to look at our own part in all this, too. The systems he's criticizing, are we complicit in them?
Yeah, it's a good question to ask ourselves. So for you, listener, what did you get out of this? What resonated? What maybe rubbed you the wrong way?
What really stuck with you?
Did his unusual imagery make you think in a new way? Or was it just frustrating?
Yeah, and those strong opinions of his, did any of them challenge your own views?
Sunny's not exactly shy about sharing his thoughts.
But that's the point, isn't it? To get us thinking, even if we don't agree with everything he says.
Yeah. He's like that friend who says the thing everyone else is too afraid to say,
Exactly. Whether you love it or hate it, it gets a reaction.
We've talked about so much, from the really personal stuff to these big global issues, but I keep coming back to Sunny's faith and love.
Yeah, even with all the darkness, he still believes in it.
Like it's this powerful force that can fix things, heal us, both as individuals and as a society.
A pretty radical idea these days when everything seems so cynical and messed up.
Maybe that's exactly why we need to hear it, though.
Right, like a reminder that love and compassion aren't weaknesses, they're strengths.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with this. Sunny's given us a lot to think about, challenged our assumptions, maybe even made us a little uncomfortable. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah, will you just let it fade away, or will you use it to change something, make something better?
It's up to you. Keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep the conversation going.
Until next time.
Dive deep and stay curious.